All right, welcome back to Home Track Heroes. We're going into our next race, just finish up the NASCAR Street Stocks, and we're going to go into the Evergreen Legends. Great turnout for the Evergreen Legends. We had a B main, and now we're going into the A main event, but so much fun to see so many cars coming out.
Yeah, and these cars are very unique, and for a lot of people out here, oh, what's a legend car? Well, it's this little tiny car, very short wheelbase. It's a same car you can take anywhere across the country, same rules everywhere, and they're very hard and very tough to drive, and so you're going to see a lot of cars, a lot of drivers struggle trying to keep the tires underneath the cars. It was a very hot day for these drivers, but we're going to get into that starting lineup. Starting on the front row, we got the 11C of Chad Sinner. It is outside the 2 of Jeff Mueller.
Row number 2, the 35 of Marissa Sawin. On the outside, the 11M of Rick McNeil.
And in row number 3, we got the 54 of Trace Thompson. It is outside the 2B of Tanner Bennett.
Brought to you by LB Motorsports, the 32 of Mike Holden. On the high side, the 28 of Billy Weber.
Next row, we got the 25 of Bryant Carlson, sponsored by Max Power Law. And his outside, the 09 Cole Alton, sponsored by Central Welding Supply.
Next row back, we have the 7Z of Zach Reel. On the outside is the 22X of Jason Payne.
Then we got Gary Longley in the 9, sponsored by Budweiser. And to his outside, the 76 of Corey Boyle.
Sponsored by Kent Collision Center, the 98 of Aaron Flett. To the outside, the 43 of Dylan Wolf.
And in the next row, we got the 33 of Kyle Lang. His outside, the 10 of Chris Thompson, sponsored by LB Motorsports.
And the final row, the 55 Austin Conan, brought to you by Ford of Kirkland, and the 11S of Scott Main, sponsored by Main Street Motorsports.
And then you're going to see Aaron Flett in the 98 into a new car for him. He actually totaled his on practice day, so he bought a new car, the backup for Marissa Sawin. So you're going to see a look-alike car out there, but that's Aaron Flett in a new car for him. But up front is Chad Sinner, Jeff Mueller, then Marissa Sawin with her best qualifying day yet as the green flag is out. As we see Jeff Mueller getting a great jump early, trying to get that 2 car down to the inside to cut off Chad Sinner, but the 11C is there.
Yeah, and Chad Sinner's been so strong, too, and you see the 11C. I love that green color on that car, the 11C. It's always an easy one to identify, and now with the hot pink front bumper, but great recovery there by Chad Sinner. You see now jumping out into the lead, just 1 lap down, but great recovery from that restart or from the start of the race itself, and Chad Sinner jumping out front right in front of the 11M of Rick McNeil, and there's the 2 of Jeff Mueller.
Yeah, Jeff Mueller was almost able to close the door on Chad Sinner, but then all of a sudden the 211 cars went flying by him on the inside as Rick McNeil, who started on the outside of row number 2, was able to get down and follow Chad Sinner through. And Rick McNeil showing a lot of strength early, capturing the second spot, and now just kind of riding it out as he looks to try to hunt down Chad Sinner, which can be a very tough job to do.
And you know, Kyler, you were talking about earlier the 35 Marissa Sawin doing such a great job. Maybe not the start that Marissa was looking for as we see her back and forth and starting on that second row, but doing a great job holding firmly there in fourth right in front of Trace Thompson as they come into turn number 2 now and head down towards the backstretch, but great job by the 35 of Marissa Sawin.
Yeah, Marissa coming off her best qualifying yet, as she's a graduate of our Youth Hornet program. So she moved into Legends last year, and when I talked to her and her dad Shane, they said it's just going to be a learning year, going to get used to the car, and then in the years to come we'll start being more competitive, and this is the most competitive we've seen that 35 yet. Holding strong in 4th place with Trace Thompson and the strong Billy Weber behind her, so she's definitely in the right crowd right here. It is a fierce competition up front just inside the top 5.
Billy Weber was so much fun to watch in the heat races earlier on in the night. Also did a great job qualifying in that 28 car, trying to work to the low side of the 54 of Trace Thompson as they head down the backstretch. Both of them, Trace Thompson and Billy Weber, chasing right now the 35 of Marissa Sawin as they try and work that inside lane. But look at Billy Weber in that 28 car working to the inside of the 54 as they come down the front stretch, heading into turn number 1. The 28 of Billy Weber able to take over the 54 of Trace Thompson.
Yeah, and don't look now, but the 32 of Mike Holden, who we saw here in a super late model for many years, filling in for Ernie Estrin, fresh off shoulder surgery. In that 32 yellow machine. He's moving forward fast. We know Mike Holden can drive, so he looks like he's adapting to this legend driving fairly quickly as he works to the outside of Tanner Bennett and now locks his eyes on the 54 of Trace Thompson, trying to get into turn number 3 and 4 right now.
And there's an issue there in turn number 2. It looks like the 7Z of Zach Reel. So we're going to see an issue there, and that's going to bring out our caution flag for the 7Z of Zach Reel.
So first caution out, 8 laps in. Drivers kind of getting familiar with one another now. A tricky track today with the added wall in there. It's different for drivers, especially the really hot and slick track conditions.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, too, to see if Marissa Sawin is able to hold off that 28 of Billy Weber. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, Billy Weber was so strong earlier on in the night, and now he's going to be side-by-side with a 35 as they go to restart. And as we go to the restart here, we're going to talk to you about our next sponsor for the next segment. It's going to be IBEW NECA, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 191 in Everett, and the National Electrical Contractors Association Cascade Chapter in Mount Vernon are powering our communities. Union members earn more money, have better benefits, and greater job security. Thank you to IBEW and NECA for their support.
As we get ready for the restart, Speedway Chevrolet pace car pulls into the infield. Lights are out. The 211's on the front row. Chad Center in the 11C, Rick McNeil in the 11M. As here we go, green flag is back in the air. As Rick McNeil is going to give Chad Center a tough time on the outside, trying to carry the momentum. Looks like Chad's able to drift up and clear him as here comes that 28, Billy Weber. What a great restart for him.
Yeah, and you saw, unfortunately, the 35 Marissa Sawin caught to the outside of the 28 of Billy Weber. There we see the 43 car going around. That's Dylan Wolf into turn number 4, so down into the dirt. Looks like stopped just short before the tires, but really too bad for Dylan Wolf in the 43 car.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that replay as he just came flying in. Oh, carried a little too much momentum and just spun around trying to keep control of the car. Tough break there for Dylan Wolf. We'll hopefully clean off that dust and put him in the back of the pack. There you see him, the orange car at the bottom. So tough break there for the young Dylan Wolf, just carrying a little too much speed in the corner.
You know, I might say, though, that might have been the most graceful spin out I think I've seen, because he almost got slowed down just enough to not go off the track, but then just did the spin out going into the dirt. But very graceful recovery there by the 43. Unfortunate to see them down in the dirt.
Yeah, and you see the pro late models going through tech in the infield and starting to line up as the Mark Galloway 100 on the 5/8 mile is coming up next. But we still got 23 laps here in the Legends. Chad Center getting a big push from the 2 of Jeff Mueller.
Yeah, great start once again by Chad Center. Once again, you see side by side, there's Billy Weber and Marissa Sawin. As Marissa Sawin to the outside, that allows the 32 of Mike Holden to work to the inside as they come into turn number 3. Rick McNeil in the 11M caught on that high side as well, just like Sawin. And so just like that, Billy Weber in the 28 is going to jump up into 3rd with 22 laps remaining.
Yeah, it looked like Rick McNeil really did not get going on that start and held up the entire outside line as the first 4 cars on the inside row now hold positions 1 through 4. It's Billy Weber trying to get into 2nd now, looking to the inside of Jeff Mueller, and he has it. So now he has 21 laps to try to hunt down that green machine 11C of Chad Center, as it is a mess of cars behind them.
That 28 car, Billy Weber, has been so fast, and you see almost that immediate separation from him and the 2 of Jeff Mueller as they're heading down the backstretch into turn number 3. But just so incredible how fast able to move up into the position that he's in right now. Billy Weber in 2nd, and like you said, hunting down the 11C. Here we have an issue. It looks like it's going to be the 11 car. Is that
Scott Main in the 11S? So he's going to get her turned back around. The caution flag is going to come out as he gets it fired back up and rolling down the front straightaway. Oh no, it looks like the 35 Marissa Sawin around in a separate incident. So tough break there. So we're going to get a replay of the incident with Sawin down in the corner, and looks like just a couple cars maybe missing the corner. It could be that barrier. Going to get a slow motion replay of at the bottom of your screen. Just maybe saw the barrier to left hand side and locked up the car, and tough break from Marissa Sawin is really just wrong place, wrong time right there.
Yeah, just caught the back end and kind of spun out the 35 there. So really unfortunate, as it was so much fun to watch Marissa Sawin having such a great start, starting up high in the pack and really running strongly here 10 laps into this main event for the Legends. But unfortunate for the 35, and we'll see how this restart goes as we are side by side coming into turn number 4 now.
Yeah, I think that's the last thing Chad Center wanted to see was a caution, as now Billy Weber stays outside, and we know just how strong Billy Weber is, and he's showing it. A great jump there from the 28 as he's going to take over the lead before they even get into turn number 1.
Yeah, that was maybe one of the best jumps, and it looks like it's going to stay, and it's going to stand. We're going to stay under green flag racing as Billy Weber just gets that fantastic jump on the 11C of Chad Center as they now come out of turn number 4 and head down the front stretch. Going to have 19 laps remaining, but Chad Center not giving up as he tries to go wide there on the outside. You see coming down on the inside, on the low side, is the 32 car there trying to work alongside is Mike Holden and Chad Center. So Billy Weber, Chad Center, Mike Holden, your 1, 2, 3 so far in turn number 4.
Yeah, Mike Holden definitely adapting to these small cars after driving the big super late models for many years, and he's making that 32 car stick to the bottom right on that white line and through the corner. And He's looking really strong as he tries to hunt down the 11C past champion Chad Center. But up front, it is all Billy Weber, and he's almost getting away from Chad Center, not quite opening up that big of a gap yet. I wouldn't be too comfortable about Billy Weber just yet.
Yeah, just 17 laps remaining now, so not quite at the halfway mark, but Billy Weber in the 28, like you said, maybe starting to open up that gap just a little bit between him and the 11C of Chad Center. But right behind him, the 32, Mike Holden, doing a great job staying firmly with that top 3 of the pack, making sure that they don't let the 28 car get too far in front of them.
Yeah, and Jeff Mueller, Rick McNeil at the head of the second pack behind the leaders, and we're going to go a little bit farther in the field. We got the 43 right there, Dylan Wolf, the 98, Aaron Flett, 76 as well in that mix. So it's definitely a big group of cars back there. And caution can happen anywhere on the track. As there we go, we got one around. That is Zach Reel again for the second time today, going around in the middle of 3 and 4. Couldn't tell if he had any help or not, or maybe just lost it on his own.
Yeah, just unfortunate to see once again the 7Z, Zach Reel, kind of going sideways there in turn number 3. But, yeah, second caution caused by the 7Z, but let's see how this restart goes and if Billy Weber's going to get the same kind of restart that he had that first go-around.
Yeah, that was a great jump that Billy Weber got. To see, timed it perfectly right at that restart line that you can see coming off at turn number 4. Got a great jump on Chad. And maybe Chad, it's Chad's turn to return the favor right here and see what the 11C can do in that awesome-looking green machine. And like you said, it's a great-looking car. If you ever get to go look at it up close, it's actually got like a sparkle finish to it all, so it's a really unique-looking paint scheme. So come on out to the track and check out that beautiful-looking 11C car.
All right, so now we see the lights off on the Evergreen Speedway pace car. As they head down the backstretch, they're going to get side by side. So the last restart, we saw Billy Weber on the high side, Chad Center on the low side. Now it's a complete reverse of that. We see Chad Center going to be on that outside lane, Billy Weber on the low side as they come into turn number 4. And like you said, Kyler, let's see if the 11C Chad Center are able to get that same kind of jump. But I have to imagine, and now we just see it, the 28 Billy Weber, almost the same jump as they got the last restart and able to hold and maintain that inside lane. As now you see the 32 of Mike Holden also low, trying to get to that low side of the 11C as they head down the backstretch, getting very close as they come into turn number 3. But Chad Center doing a great job trying to hold off the 32 cars they come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, Chad playing a dangerous game, trying to hang on to that right rear quarter panel of Billy Weber to try to get a good run on him. But by doing that, it opens up the inside line for Mike Holden, and there he goes, trying to get by and take over that second spot on the podium. Just almost has enough momentum to carry on along the inside and get around Chad Center as he hangs a little bit sideways at the line. It looks like Mike Holden took over the spot. Yep. Yeah,
just got that slight advantage, the 32 over the 11C, as now you see out of turn number 2, Mike Holden in the 32 now right in front of the 11C of Chad Center. And there's no doubt about it right now. It was awful close last time around, but as they come out of turn number 4, Mike Holden in the 32 solidifying that second spot right behind the 28 Billy Weber. But Billy Weber just looking awful sharp, but I think the exciting part is for this race, he's not pulling it way too far in front of the other top 2, and so it's still going to be very interesting as they come around and going to have 11 laps remaining.
Yeah, if this goes green the next 11 laps, the leaders could end up running into some lap traffic, which can always shake up how the end goes. But Mike Holden, Chad Center not quite losing touch of Billy Weber yet, so just one mistake from Billy Weber could write a whole new story. As you see Rick McNeil, Trace Thompson, Tanner Bennett all coming into the picture as well. They're not quite out of it yet either.
Yeah, we see here nice side-by-side battle. We have the 9 and the 89 as they go across the start-finish line. So the 9 of Gary Longley and the 89, or maybe that was the 98 of Aaron Flett. Can't quite tell there.
Yeah, they need to get bigger number on these little cars. It actually looks like it's the old 9 of Cole Alton. I think that's his first time out this year. And then the young Kyle Lang, I think 14 or 15 years old behind the wheel of that 33 machine. He ended up on the podium earlier this year and been trying to find that speed since then as he gets around, looks like was the 9 of Gary Long. He gets around him, trying to move a little bit forward in the field. And it's just tough for Kyle Lang. You get up on the podium once and you expect to be there every single time after that. And he's trying to work back up there, but right now it's all Billy Weber up front, opening up a little bit more of an advantage over the 32 of Mike Holden.
Yeah, great job by the 28 of Billy Weber. And we see, like you said, Mike Holden in the 32, trying to keep that distance minimized as much as possible. Chad Center right behind the 32 as you see them kind of continue to go back and forth for that second place spot. But Billy Weber just seems like he's pulling away with it just a little bit here. You see the 54 of Trace Thompson as they come out of turn number 2 and head towards the backstretch, and also the 2 of Jeff Mueller as they're going back and forth here into turn number 3. So a great battle there between the 54 and the 2. Right in front of them, the 11M of Rick McNeil as they head down the front stretch.
Yeah, I think that's actually the other 2 of Tanner Bennett putting a ton of pressure on the back of Trace Thompson. The other number 2, Jeff Mueller, just behind them as they continue to battle right outside the top 5. Actually, for the 5th spot is Trace Thompson and Tanner Bennett battling for, but Rick McNeil not too far off, but Tanner Bennett is giving all he can. They're pretty much locking bumpers all the way down the front straightaway. I think Trace Thompson definitely knows that Bennett is there, as that's about as close to train racing as you can get without actually train racing inside the figure 8, which we've seen at Evergreen before. Tanner Bennett giving Trace Thompson all that he can handle for that 5th spot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I need bigger numbers here. But yeah, it's a great job there by the 54 Trace Thompson, just holding off that line as you see Tanner Bennett and the 2 doing everything that he can to get by, but Trace Thompson doing a great job staying right in front of them. Rick McNeil still has a little bit of distance, but Trace is trying to close that gap as well as we come across now 4 laps remaining and now 3 laps in our Evergreen Legends Cars series here.
Yeah, I think Tanner Bennett's going to need some new paint on that front bumper after this race, as he's used it all up on the back of Trace Thompson, trying to get around him. He's only going to have 2 more laps to go this time by to try to get that 5th spot. But Rick McNeil sitting there in 4th, also in the picture. So we'll see what these 2 drivers end up doing. And I think the last thing that Billy Weber wants is for these 3 to wreck as Trace Thompson hangs the left side tires into the dirt for a second. That might open up the door for Tanner Bennett to fully get to the inside. But still not quite enough as the white flag is out for Billy Weber in the 28. He's still got a mirror full of Chad Sinner.
Here we see the 28 Billy Weber, the 32 of Mike Holden, and the 11C of Chad Sinner as we come into turn number 3, now into turn number 4. Great job by the 28 of Billy Weber taking over that lead and finishing out strong, going to be able to take home the victory. The number 2 spot goes to the 32 of Mike Holden. Chad Sinner in the 11C takes 3rd.
First of all, introduce your crew. I got my daughter Maddie, Jamie, my wife, my dad in the pits, Bradley Shaw, the spotter, Chance Overhaul. Hope he kicks some ass in the super in the pro late, but at least we got you one this weekend.
And talk about the help you're getting on this car.
It ain't a one-man band, that's for sure. We're all out here sweating our butts off today and yesterday, and for a while I didn't think I'd be able to do it because it's 100 degrees, and it took a toll on me. So the drive home is going to be very quiet and cold.
This is not our first go-around, but man, I tell you, you took to that car real quick.
Yeah, I got in it yesterday for the first time and got some laps, made a whole bunch of adjustments, and they're fun little cars.
And you can do this again?
I'm sure I'll be back in at some point.
Sure you will. I know. And talk about the help you're getting on it.
Well, car owner Ernie Estrin, he gave me the call. He had shoulder surgery, so he wanted me to drive. And my crew chief Brian Estrin and Redmond Bicycle Repair, Mobile Repair, Redmond Cycle, and my family and all the crew.
Best thing happened all day to you is in that bottle right there, right?
Oh yeah, I've been drinking a lot of fluids all day. It's hot out there.
Yeah, it is. A great run. How did these cars like this hot of a track?
Not so much. It's really hard figuring out the setup when it's this warm, and we were all us top 3 were pretty close up there, and made for some good racing and made it interesting.
It really did. Talk about the help you're getting on the cars, Chad.
My mom, my dad, Palmer's East and Redmond. Terrific towing, the Goings family, anyone that helped me get back together after the last crash a few weeks ago means a lot.